100 Dresses, Chapter 4, The Contest. Now today, even though she and Peggy had been late to school, Maddie was glad she didn't have to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. Nothing she could do about making fun of Wanda. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note, because she knew she'd never have the courage to speak right out to Peggy and say, "Hey, Peg, let's stop asking Wanda about them 100 dresses, huh?" And when she finished her math, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly, she paused and shuddered. Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress she had on. And Maddie would have to say that it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother tried to disguise with new trimmings so that no one in room 13 would recognize it. If only Peggy would decide of her own to accord and to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore the note she had started into bits. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best-liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggan's Heights and stood alone in a schoolyard. Nobody in the room thought about Wanda at all, except when it was her turn to stand up for oral reading. Then they hoped she would all hurry up and finish and sit down, because it took forever for her to read a paragraph. Sometimes she stood up and just looked at her book and couldn't or wouldn't even read at all. The teacher tried to help her, but she'd just stand there until the teacher told her to sit down. Was she dumb or what? Maybe she was just timid. That's an old vocabulary word. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, a pale blue one with rice colors trimmings. And she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. "You look like a Christmas tree in that," the girls had said in a pretend admiration. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in a closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. For girls, the contest consisted of designing dresses, and for the boys, designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. You should see the way she would copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head. You could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie did hope Peggy would win. Hope so. She was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow, the teacher was going to announce the winners, and then they'd know. Thoughts of Wanda sunk further and further from Maddie's mind, and by the time the history lesson began, she had forgotten all about her.